Hello there. This is our Season 1, Episode 1 of Hanging with Heath, where I'll be interviewing very important and vital members of the West Essex community.
Me.
This week we have Mr. Muller, a history teacher. I had him for U.S. history my junior year of high school. To start out, what courses do you teach here at West Essex, Mr. Muller?
Was Mr. West Essex? Is that me?
Oh, no, what courses do you teach at
Okay.
West Essex, Mr. Muller?
United States History 2,
Mm-hmm.
Film Studies, and I had taught Constitutional Law before that.
Of course, of course. Do you have a favorite of those three?
Of the three, probably US 2.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been teaching here?
Two.
Too long. Gee, is there a year count? Or?
I would bet you it would be as long as Chris and you
Our ages combined?
combined, and then you'd have to bring somebody else in. Almost 30 years.
Chris is our cameraman in the back, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so wow, that's a long time.
It's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. And you're known to be a unique style of teaching. You have some quirks about you. For example, you have a Snuggie that you occasionally bring out.
Should we bring it out?
You can if you have it. I didn't expect this, viewers of Hangin with Heath.
I have 3 Snuggies.
3 Snuggies.
Not only one, but 3.
That is
I have
impressive.
my camouflage Snuggie.
Of course.
I have my super soft Snuggie that
Oh,
one
soft.
of my students gave me last year. His father is in this business.
Wow. Can you give us any insight on who the student is?
No,
or is
I can't do that.
That's confidential.
But his picture is on the package, wrapped up in a Snuggie.
Okay.
Far be it for me to say who it is.
Mhm.
And then I have my James Caldwell Snuggie
Right.
that I may only wear when no one is in the room.
Mhm. Yes, that would cause some problems.
Yes, cold, as you know.
So those are for comfort and warmth factors?
And for
is it?
warmth. Yep.
Yes. So now in your classroom, you have pictures of newspapers that you guys cannot see, the viewers cannot see. How long did it take for you to cover all your walls and cabinets with newspapers?
It took years to get the pictures
Mm-hmm.
because black and white is difficult to find.
Right.
But at one time, there were a lot of magazines out there that were in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
People magazine was black and white, Life and Look were black and white,
Yeah.
so you could get those pictures. It took a long time to get them. Once we got them, it took maybe about 6 months to do the whole thing.
Is there a certain newspaper that you'll eventually show on here, such as the Wessex Wire?
Do you like the Wessex Wire up there?
I would like that. I think
Okay.
other members of the Wessex Wire would like that.
Yep.
This is interesting. Do you have a favorite picture up there?
Well, when you look at those, of course you can't see them, but that one over there is all from film.
Right.
And these over here are United States History 2.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the general idea of giving you a visual image
Mhm.
of what American history is all about.
Yeah.
And what I especially like, if you zero in on people where they're not acting, where they're not the president, but where they're human beings, that's a big thing you try to do with these. Probably the hardest thing is there's a wall over here.
Yeah.
When they switched rooms years and years ago, and they switched us down here, we took the doors off because we had those on already. We had to take the doors off and bring the doors down here. So there's been a lot of work over the years to get this done. Actually, where it began,
Yeah.
we didn't start the fire. And there was an assignment that the class had,
Is that the Billy Joel
the
hit
Billy
single?
Joel, the Billy Joel single.
Right.
So it started as we didn't start the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And what they had to do was bring in different images. So on the board, we had all those different images. And then one day somebody said, well, there's an awful lot of space that's not being used. Why don't we start filling it in?
Yes.
So that's when we started filling it in. That's when it just grew and grew and grew.
Yeah. Well, I know you viewers can't see, but Mr. Muller does have some very interesting pictures up on his wall. Another thing you are known for is your view on textbooks. When I had you the first day, you did a little thing with the textbook.
Mhm.
Can you elaborate, please?
You mean saying that good for doorstops? Is that the one?
Well, you also happen to throw it in the garbage.
Well, true.
Yes.
I am a textbook hater
Right.
because, especially history-wise, in that there is so much in there, it becomes impossible to really get the story of what history is about. So textbooks for me are more involved in giving facts than they are giving an appreciation of what history is. So I don't like them at all. I'd much rather have you write your own history, write your own history textbook, is what you did in class, is to do that.
And phones. To many students, you call them DWOCs.
Right.
What does that stand for, and why do you call them that?
Destroyer of Western Civilization,
Right.
DOWCs,
Mhm.
because we become so dependent on them that they literally run our life.
Yes.
The idea there where if a phone rings, we feel that we are obliged to answer. First Amendment says we have no constitutional right, and the phone has no constitutional right to be answered, but we don't act that way.
And is it true, I've heard theories out there on several forums and websites, that you do not own a cellular device. Is this
I
true?
do not, I will not.
That is
Yeah.
interesting. So even if there's an emergency, you'll just scramble or something?
They'll get to me.
They'll get
If
to
it's that big a deal,
Mhm.
they'll get to me.
All right. Another thing you have a interesting view on is freshmen. I know you don't teach many freshmen in your classes, if at all.
I don't teach any French.
Don't teach any freshmen, of course. You're an upper class.
Right.
So what are your views on freshmen?
Evil.
Evil.
No, they're not evil.
They're not evil.
No, the basic idea there is as you get older,
Yes.
you want to deal with more mature people.
Yes.
You want to deal with juniors, you want to deal with seniors. You don't want to deal with freshmen and freshman problems. You'd much rather move up.
And so in your earlier days as a teacher, did you teach?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I've taught, I've done my time. I've done grammar school, I've done freshmen, I've done lower levels. So, time to be with the older people.
So you've been teaching for decades now. Do you plan on retiring from teaching in the near future? Is this something you can give us some insight on?
It's coming. It's coming. It's obviously coming.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen next year. But it's on the horizon.
All right. And just to end it out, the most important question: am I your favorite student you've ever had?
Without a doubt.
I don't know.
Without a doubt.
This is why I have such a loyal fan base out there.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being on our pilot episode of Hangin with Heath.
Okay.
It's been a blast. We'll see you next time on Hangin with Heath.